Can you read at all? I've never seen so many mistakes.
Mistakes. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel FixPay, and we will continue with Kingdom Come Deliverance. And we will start from where we left off, which is we need to sneak
brother.
into the
I am
monastery.
Antonius, a novice like you. I've been instructed to guide you around the monastery and tell you what you can expect and what your duties will be.
Thanks for helping me out during the ceremony. I had no idea what I was supposed to do.
You don't know Latin, do you? Don't worry. Work in the scriptorium will teach you fast enough. Why exactly are you here? Was it your choice? Or did someone force you to come?
Being here in the monastery is my dream come true. Being a monk is so exciting.
Well, no one's ever said that before. I'm curious if you'll still be singing the same tune in a month's time.
Would you tell me something about yourself?
I'm a novice and I'm here because I'd make a poor merchant. I like books and I want an education. Although I must say, so far the monastic life's been quite unexpected.
Let's go then.
Good. But before we do, here's a letter directly from the prior telling you all your regular duties from tomorrow onwards. Make sure to read it this evening, so you know how things work. Right, we can go now. Follow me closely. I'll explain everything as we go. Remember one word: discipline. It's your job to work and pray. You serve the Lord now, not your own bodily needs. Salve. Be well. This is the way to the dormitory, where we all sleep. You'll find a free bed there, which is now yours. Do you know the first thing the monastery taught me? To appreciate sleep. We rise before dawn every day. Takes a bit of getting used to.
Praise be to our Lord Jesus.
This is the garden, a place for silent contemplation and meditation. Centuries ago, this monastery was founded by the most esteemed of brothers, Saint Procopius. His earthly remains can be found in a cave under the monastery, and his spirit wanders the corridors at night, punishing any misbehaving novices. So beware. Here are the frattery and scriptorium, together with the library. These are the places where we work. Ora et labora, pray and work. As a novice, you must always listen to your superior brethren, and above us monks are the prior and the circators, who punish every infraction. You'll know them by the canes they carry. Do what they say. This is the refectory, where we come together to eat. During meals, you must be silent. Only one brother reads aloud from the Rule of Saint Benedict.
The rule is the only law we recognize, with the exception of those from God himself. If you break any of its precepts, expect a swift punishment. But I've already told you about the circuitors. The library, the pride of our monastery, a trove of learning. We don't just read books here, we also copy them. You, too, will learn how.
And that's all. Today you are still free from duty, but tomorrow you begin work like the others. If you need anything, ask any of the brothers. We'll be glad to help you. And I recommend you get to know the other novices. You already know me. Then there is Siskin, Yodok, and Lucas.
Thanks for showing me around. There's a lot to learn here.
Okay, so in here, first we don't need to talk about Pius, about our objective in here, because what we need in here is playing a detective to find Pius, because he's not using that name.
Will
So
you tell me something
we
about
need to
yourself?
get the information
There's not much
from
to
the
tell.
peoples in here.
I lived in Vlashim, and after my father died, I found out I wasn't much of a merchant. So I left the shop to my brother and decided to become a monk. It's peaceful here. There's food and lots of time to read.
So you chose to come here?
It may seem strange, but I'm one of the few novices that did. I might be the only one. The truth is, the idea of spending my life in a monastery was more appealing than being cooped up in a greasy old shop.
It occurred to me you might be the man to ask. I'm looking for some lockpicks. Do you know anyone in the monastery who could help me?
Lockpicks? You surprise me, brother. And you, a nobleman's son. But you could ask Brother Salarius. They say he used to be a thief.
I'd like to ask you something about the monastery. Who's in charge of things around here?
Truthfully, everyone except us. But officially, Abbot Peter. And soon enough, someone else. As if it mattered. Our life will still be work and prayer.
I see. Are there any rifts between the brothers?
Yes. From the moment talk began about electing a new abbot, it's been like a hornet's nest here. Strange you haven't noticed.
Tell me something about electing the abbot.
Abbot Peter is old. When he dies, they'll have to select a new abbot from amongst the brethren. The candidates are John and Nevlas. And if you ask me for my opinion, Nevlas is definitely the right man. Unfortunately, no one cares about my opinion because novices get no say.
Tell me something about life here.
Work, prayer, as if you didn't know. We serve God, and that's the central truth of our lives.
Who's in charge of things around here?
Truthfully, everyone except us.
Are there already candidates to be the new abbot?
Brothers John and Nevlas. But the others have been fighting like dogs because of them. We don't have to fight about anything, though.
This John, who is he?
A circator, and really just an unpleasant old man. It's mostly the older brothers on his side, because they believe he'll protect the status quo and all the benefits that come with long service here.
Tell me something about Nevlas.
Nevlas manages the monastery's property. He's what they call the provost. He'd like to bring back solemnity to the monastery through reform and by returning to pure faith. A lovely idea, but most of the monks are against it.
Why can't novices vote?
They say we don't have enough experience to decide about anything. Don't worry, we'll get our chance.
Why is who wins so important?
We're young and we'll spend the rest of our lives here. And the abbot decides everything about our lives. Didn't it ever occur to you how powerful he is?
What are the roles of the various monks here?
Someone takes care of the library, someone else the garden. The abbot supervises everyone, and in his absence, the prior. But it's the circators you should worry about. They're the brothers who'll make sure we observe the rule. They can be quite strict, so if you want to avoid getting punished, always act righteously and do your duties honestly.
Who would you choose as the new abbot if you could?
Why should I even think about that when I don't have the right to vote? Gregor, don't go poking your nose into other people's business. You'll sleep better at night. Ah, Gregor, talk to me.
I'd like to ask you something about the monastery. Well, that's all. Thank you for your time, brother.
Okay, so we will get another dialogues when we already talked to another novices. So normally, now we can explore this place. But because I'm already from here before, so I don't need to explore a lot.
Don't even look at that cabinet. It contains forbidden books.
you can see that I'm already have the key for this cabinet. And also because this day we are free from duty, so we can start with some side quests that can only be at this place and at this moment. And one of them is we need to collect page torn from book. So there are 2 pages in here. And then let's find the others. And maybe we can talk to some monks. Another page torn from book in here. This is his king, one of the offices.
My name's Gregor, a novice.
You can call me Siskin. Now, are you here of your own free will, or is this a punishment? Although it's not important. Welcome to Purgatory.
Did you say purgatory?
You'll see soon enough. Soon enough.
Will you tell me something about yourself?
Look, nothing against you, but I prefer not to talk about my past.
Are you hiding something? Why are you so reluctant to tell me anything about yourself?
I'm hiding a lousy past that I'd rather forget. I hate to think of all I lost when they stuck me in here. And also because I really hate the question, aren't you the son of the famed Sir Smil Flashka of Pardubitz? I was rich and I had everything. But then my father began to feel his time approaching, so he decided to send a son to the monastery. And, being the youngest, the lot fell on me. I've no head for managing the estate, and they said I'd squander it. Can you imagine? Me, in a monastery. So I took what coin I could from home with me, so I didn't lose out completely.
But you didn't have to come here if you didn't want to.
No, not if I didn't mind being left to beg alms by the city gate. I had one choice, the monastery or nothing. If it had come to that after my father's death, so be it. But to get rid of me while he's still alive...
They must have realized you robbed them.
I donated some of the silver to the monastery when I came in, just to piss them off. I can just see my my siblings, arguing with the abbot to give it back.
And you stashed away the remainder?
Indeed so.
What's your plan with this treasure?
To get out of here as soon as I can. I'll wait another year or two until my hot-headed brothers cool off a bit, and then I'll take the silver and run off somewhere, far, far away from here.
That's all I wanted to know.
Please, keep it to yourself. Especially the part about the coin.
Okay.
Will you tell me something about yourself?
Look, nothing against you, but I prefer not to...
Very well, I won't ask.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm still curious about this treasure trove of yours.
It's no big terrible secret. Really, it isn't. I just go and read during services. There's no time otherwise. I mean, at other times I don't get to read what I like. And I keep it under the slab so the others don't find it.
I'll leave you be. Don't worry, I won't follow you again.
Thank you. And please, Gregor, don't mention it to anyone.
How is it that you don't get any penance for missing morning prayers?
I've paid off the circators to turn a blind eye. And the other monks don't notice as long as you show your face there from time to time. No one's too awake at that time of the morning.
So we can asking about what they think about the other novices, but we need to talk to all of them, so I will skip that for now.
Who would you elect, Abbot, if you could?
Most likely Nevlas. He's a fine fellow and he seems honest. But, truth be told, it doesn't matter much to me. The monastery will still be a monastery no matter who's in charge. If you really want to talk more about it, ask Antonius. He seems to have taken an interest.
I found this piece of parchment. It looks like it's been ripped out of a book.
I've no idea. Why don't you ask Brother Librarian?
Okay, so we start another side quest, scatter page.
I'm telling you, someone's been creeping around in the corridor at night. I say creep.
And we need to find the librarian.
Peace be with you, brother.
More like infuriating. A horrible, abominable...
I'm Gregor, a novice. I saw you at the ceremony.
I know. It was hard not to notice you.
And you are?
Lucas, also a novice. Don't get upset, but I don't want to talk to you. I'm happiest alone.
Will you tell me something about yourself?
There's nothing I can tell you.
I mean, where you're from, what sort of life you had before, that sort of thing.
I'm a novice, and my monastic name is Lucas. Nothing else matters.
Come on. Is there really nothing at all you can tell me?
I could, but I don't want to. I'm sorry. I want to stay focused on work and prayer, not on who I once was. I never will be again. What has been isn't important for us. We cast the past aside when we walked through the monastery gates and took our oath. Never forget that.
If you could, who would you vote for to be the abbot?
But I can't vote, so what's the point of worry? Ask Antonius. He often talks about it, and I'm sure he has an opinion.
Okay, one more novice that we need to talk. Let's see if I can find the librarian now. Oh, and also, I don't know why, but I've got FPS drop in here, but only in this part of the monastery, because if we go there, it's not drop anymore. So in here is drop, but not in here. I don't know why, but I think that will be not make our game be worse. So the secret in here, we can find lockpick in here.
It's a mystery. Then he'd soon get his man. God be with you.
What do you desire, Brother Gregor?
There is Lucas, Siskin, and Yodok.
Praise be to our Lord Jesus.
Okay, this is the last novice.
Greetings, brother. I'm Gregor, and I'm new here.
Greetings to you, brother. I'm Yodok, the oldest of the novices. I hope you'll like it here in the monastery and that you won't get into trouble.
Trouble?
You're young, perhaps intemperate. You might easily stray from the rules of the order. I suggest you get to know the older monks. You never know when it might come in handy.
Okay, now we can start to asking about the
I'm
other
interested in the
novices.
other novices. What can you tell me about Siskin?
Oh, he's always got a smile on the new friend. But I reckon he don't belong in the monastery. He spends more time dreaming of the world outside than tending to his duties. I'm surprised he hasn't been thrown out already. If it was up to me, he'd be out on his ear right away.
Sounds like you don't have much time for him.
I wouldn't trust him as far as I could throw him. Believe me, Gregor, he's hiding something from us. In fact, now I come to think of it, I haven't seen him at morning prayers for a while.
What can you tell me about...
Oh, I'm surprised.
Do you know anything about Antonius?
Only that he came to the monastery voluntarily, because he didn't want to work in his father's shop. Antonius is all right. You can rely on him. He won't betray your confidence. He's always happy to help, which is more than can be said for the other brothers.
I'm interested in Lucas.
Nobody knows much about Lucas. He keeps himself to himself. If you ask me, he's got something to hide. I'd keep well clear of him if I was you.
Do you have any grounds for suspecting him of something?
Quite a lot. And also none at all. The circators who make the rounds despise him, and they'd never punish anyone without cause.
Okay, so about the abbot's book. Actually, we need to find that first. So I will getting there.
Can you tell me something about yourself?
I would if there was anything noteworthy to say. But I'm just the ordinary son of a landowner, now a monk. There's nothing in my past, present, or future that anyone could find interesting.
Why did you join the monastery?
Because it was better than living in poverty. As the youngest son, I'm not entitled to inherit my father's estate, but he was kind enough to sell off some cattle and send me here. And you know what? I'm glad to be here. It's better than mucking out manure.
Who would you vote for as the new abbot if you could?
Why do you care? We don't have the right to vote, so we shouldn't get mixed up in it.
I'm just interested, that's all.
I like John better. But like I've said, it's not our place to get involved. It's enough that Antonius is mixed up in it. Don't you start too.
Okay. That's all for your dog. And also one thing, it's about Siskin. Actually, the stash that he talking about is in here. We can find the books, dagger and groschen in here. Okay, I will take one torch, but don't get caught by another monks because we will get punished. And that's worldly goods automatically completed because we already talked about that from Siskin.
What is it, brother?
Will you tell me something about yourself?
Look, nothing against you, but I...
Are you hiding something? Why are you so reluctant to tell me?
I'm hiding a lousy past that I'd rather forget. I hate to think of all I lost. And all... I was rich.
Okay, we
I've no
already
head
heard
for managing
this.
the estate and...
Okay, so there are more of dialogues.
What about the dagger?
That's a memento of better times. Father gave me that when I was a little lad, and it's done right by me more than once, when I got drunk somewhere with the wrong sort of people.
Do you know how to fight?
And how? Boozing and brawling. God, how I miss that here.
So, whatever you do, don't choose this option. We need some of the money because he will pitch to us and he will sell us to the prior. So we will get punishment.
Tell me more about the book.
I found it here in the library. It was on a shelf where it should never have been. So I hid it to read later. It's the Necronomicon. Ghosts, demons, and invocations of powers beyond our world. Only it's written in a strange language that I can't really make sense of. All bara this and bara that. Who knows what it means? I tried to count the syllables, read the words backwards, but nothing. I'm not getting anywhere with it.
Oh, I'm not too sure what the prior or the cicada would say about a book like that. Actually, what anyone would say. It sounds quite prohibited.
Prejudice. But you're right, it is prohibited. For no good reason, though. Has knowledge ever done anybody any harm?
You're right. Knowledge should never be prohibited.
Oh, I'm glad you agree. Just take a look at the book. Maybe you'll be able to make some sense of it. I haven't grasped a single syllable. Just please don't tell anyone about the book. If the brothers learn that I took it from the library and hid it, I'll be in a lot of trouble. Our brothers' minds are closed to a thirst for knowledge.
What kind of a book is it?
I found it here in the library. It was on a shelf where it should never have been. So I hid it to read later. It's the Necronomicon. Who knows what it means?
Okay, the same.
I'm not too sure. If it wasn't harmful, it wouldn't be forbidden?
That's a rather limited view of the world. Some write about the saints, others about demons. And an educated person should know both. Pity I can't understand a word it says. And I've been trying for quite a while. Just please don't tell anyone about the book. If the brothers learn that I took it from the library and hid it, I'll be in a lot of trouble. Our brothers' minds are closed to a thirst for knowledge.
There's a lot of coin in the stash. You have to admit it looks suspicious.
I admit it might look that way. But if I tell you what I'm hiding from everybody, I think you'll understand why. I hate to think of all I lost when they stuck me in here. And also because I really hate the question, aren't you the son of the famed Sir Smil Flashka of Pardubitz? I was rich and I had everything. But then my father began to feel his time approaching, so he decided to send a son to the monastery. And, being the youngest, the lot fell on me. I've no head for managing the estate, and they said I'd squander it. Can you imagine? Me in a monastery. So I took what coin I could from home with me, so I didn't lose out completely.
Okay, so this choice is forbidden. Don't choose that.
That's all I wanted to know.
Please, keep it to yourself. Especially the part about the coin.
I'd be interested to hear what you think about the other novices. Tell me about Antonius.
Oh, if there was a monk I'd recommend as a friend, with of course the exception of myself, it would be Antonius. He has a calm soul, he's easy to talk to, and you can always rely on him.
I'm interested in Yodok.
What could interest you about him? He's a no-good rat. He'll turn you in for the price of a turnip. I'd bet my life that if he wasn't here, he'd be a cumin scout, bowing and scraping for a few groschen.
That doesn't sound too flattering.
It wasn't meant to. No matter what you do here, watch out for him. He's got his eye on everyone, and he'll rat on you for even the slightest of infractions.
What can you tell me about Lucas?
It's a tricky situation with Lucas. No one really knows anything about him. I've tried so many times to talk to him, but he always backs away like a virgin on a wedding night.
That's all. Thanks.
Okay, let's end that. And then in here we can find another page turn. And then this one in here. Monk's habit. The white one. I wonder if I can get the black.
Oh, leave me be. I want to sleep.
This is librarian. But don't worry, we can talk to them later. Okay, everyone is asleep. One page in here.
You've seen us drinking here, so either join in or swear you won't tell a soul. You won't want to end up like Lucas now, would you?
Okay, so this is another side quest, Nasty Habits, and we need to join them.
Alright, I wouldn't mind some wine.
That's more like it. Sit down and have a drink, my lad.
What's there left to drink to?
Okay, let
To
me
our
use the
fresh young
torch.
novices, our swift steeds, and our boundless cellars.
You and your novices, you old pervert. A toast to our future abbot.
I'll drink to that. So, to John, the future abbot, and a pox on Nevlis.
And Killjoy, he'd love to have us all under his thumb. Fat chance.
Don't worry. Those youngsters will wise up once they hear all about him.
Will they believe it?
Even if just 2 or 3 of them do, it'll help us. So, to Abbot John.
To Abbot John. What troubles you?
What are you doing here?
What does it look like, drinking?
But we're all monks.
Youngster, when you're as old as I, you'll understand.
But you're the cicators. You're the ones meant to be keeping order here. How can gambling and drinking be a fitting part of a monk's life?
Well, if you really want to know, see for yourself.
All right, have it your way.
And what is it, brother?
You mentioned Yodok. What does he do for you?
Well, nothing much. He's just a little suckling like you. He'll do whatever it takes to stay on our good side. Sometimes we make use of him when there are errands to run.
Where'd you get the wine from? I thought the monastery cellars were guarded.
So they are. But this wine isn't from the monastery. Listen, lad, would you help us out with something? This cask is almost empty and we need a new one. We're a bit old for such exertions, but you, on the other hand...
I'll help you. What do I need to do?
Ha! I knew it. Help Novice Yorick arrange for a new cask.
Talk to him first thing in the morning, and by tomorrow night, the cask can be on the table.
All right, I'll talk to him.
About you in the election, will you tell me more about it?
Ask me anything you want.
Tell me something about Nevlas.
Nevlas is weak and toothless. He's full of hot hair. How anyone could think he'd make a good abbot is beyond me. Enough, I don't even want to hear his name again.
I'd like to know what's going on here.
Well, the young brothers feel they don't have the same rights and responsibilities as we, who have spent much of our lives here. And what of it? Privilege needs to be earned. Nevlas is lying when he says he wants to right wrongs. All he cares about are benefits for himself and his cronies.
Okay, so actually there is something that we can do, and we need to go to the politics into the monastery. But I will not do that. That is very, very optional.
Thank you for answering. I'd like to ask you something about the monastery. Who's in charge of things around here?
Oh, Abbot Peter is the administrator of the monastery, but you won't see him. He's always travelling on. On top of that, he's old and infirm. Perhaps the good Lord will bless him with many more years of life.
And what happens when the old abbot dies?
Well, then we elect a new one.
Tell me something about life here.
Prayer, work, obedience. That just about sums it up.
Can you tell me something about the rule of St. Benedict?
7 centuries ago, St. Benedict of Nursia wrote a collection of monastic rules, which we still follow today. They're read at every meal. The fundamental precepts are obedience, work, and prayer. We're fully devoted to serving God. The outside world, beyond the monastery walls, is foreign to us.
Do you never want to know what's going on out there?
And what should be going on? The sky is just as blue, the grass is just as green. Perhaps the ruler's changed, but the greatest ruler of them all will remain unchanged throughout the ages.
I'm interested in the monastery's history.
Well, it was founded by Saint Procopius 500 years ago. After his death, heretics occupied the place for some time. But then the order was restored and the brothers of the true faith returned.
Heretics, you say?
They wanted to worship God with some foreign rituals, in a language foreign to God. They were driven away, and their books burned.
What are the roles of the various monks here?
Well, the abbot is the head, but he's not here now. Then there's the prior, the sub-prior, the librarian, the porter, many others. As a novice, you should be particularly mindful of the cicatas. They're the ones who maintain discipline and punish bad behavior.
What can you tell me about the novices here?
And what can I say? You're here to demonstrate your devotion to God and to live a monastic life. After a year, you can make your vows and become a fully fledged brother.
I meant something specific about the brothers that are here.
But you know them yourself. Yorick is an odd one, but he's diligent and eager, perhaps too eager. Siskin is good company, but a bit too worldly for a monk. Antonius is hard-working and will help with anything, but prays less than he ought. Lucas is as quiet as a mouse, and no one knows much about him. And then we have you, about who I know nothing.
Can you leave the monastery?
Where would you go? You've everything you need here. Anyway, all the doors here are closed and locked tight, so no one can get in or out.
About you in the election, will you tell me more about it?
Ask me anything you want.
Thank you for answering.
I'll be going, brothers. It's been good to sit with you a while.
Do us a favour, brother. Stay a little longer and have another drink with us. Here, some wine for you.
We can
Oh,
drink.
alright, but that's the last cup.
And what about Stibor?
What would you like?
Okay, it's actually the same. We can start drinking or play dice in here. I will skip that.
Ah, down the hatch.
Every gulp a treat, isn't that the truth?
No wonder. With our throats going dry all day.
Next time we'll get Yorick to bring some Rhine wine. I'm losing my taste for this one.
Why doesn't Yorick drink with us anyway?
He's young, and he wants to look good in front of the others. And he doesn't trust us to keep him safe from harm if he got too drunk to make it to prayer.
You mean like your good self last Christmas Day? The way you drowned out the prior's voice by snoring through the Agnes Day?
Don't remind me.
Okay, some chit chat in there. We can rock all of these if you want. But let's try to explore more. Oh, and one thing is in the kitchen we can find the monastery key and it will help us in this quest. It's in here. So we can unlock all the door, but I'll be using my lockpicking so I can get experience. In here there is a pen store, a page turn from book.
What are you doing here?
What are you doing here?
Well, probably the same as you. I want to be able to read in peace and quiet. And not just the books they make us read.
What exactly do you read here?
Well, I'd be interested to find the unofficial biography of Saint Procopius, but there probably is no such thing. To be honest, I was expecting some entertaining reading, but it's just the same old stuffy nonsense. But if that locked cabinet there with all the forbidden books was open, that would be a different story. Until recently it was still unlocked, but after something vanished, they've kept it locked tight.
Maybe I could get inside.
Oh, that would be wonderful. I'd love to pore over some of those tomes. We'd be in it together, up to our ears in it. What do you say?
We'll see what I can do.
Okay. So we need to unlock this door.
frighten me. Why aren't you in the dormitory?
Hey. Will he sell me now? Because we need an item in here. So let's go here.
What have we here? That's it. The book with information about the novices.
So this is the abbot's book about all of the novices.
Interesting. But I still don't know which one of them is pious.
Okay, what we need in here is the page turn from book in here. One of them.
What is it, brother?
In the middle of the night, I saw the brother Circators drinking and playing dice.
How marvelous! Did you join in? And more importantly, can I join in next time?
Siskin? I thought it wasn't allowed.
If the Circators can, we all can.
That's not how it works, though, is it?
I know. A double standard. The elder brothers can do as they please, but they're the ones preaching about morality to us.
Will you tell me something about...
Look, nothing...
Are you hiding something?
I'm hiding a lot. I hate to... I've no head...
Okay.
That's all I wanted to know.
Please, keep...
I think we already done with Siskin. Let's see what we've got. Okay, we need 10 of page turn. So there is one more. And this is our schedule every day. So I will try to do this quest as fast as I can. So the first thing is morning prayer at 4 a.m. and then 6 a.m. Okay, before we go to sleep, let's find one last page turn that we need. And I believe there's something in here. Yep. So that's all of the patch thorn that we need. And we need to unlock all the doors. And that's it for now, so we can sleep. Don't use the torch. Okay, so I will take these items later. Okay, everyone is wake up. We need to find Librarian and also Celarius. This is Librarian. Actually we will find him later in our daily quest. So maybe Celarius. Where is he anyway? Okay, never mind.
This is not a good time for questions, brother.
Okay, so actually we can skip until 6.
Brother, where were you during Mass? Don't tell me you didn't know that Holy
What?
Mass is the
I'm in
foundation
there.
on which your life here is built.
I had other affairs that needed to be attended to immediately. It will never happen again.
Really? Fine then. This time I will forgive you, but next time you'll be punished just like everyone else. Brother, you were somewhere you shouldn't have been. Don't you know your place? Don't you know where you're permitted to enter and where your presence is forbidden?
Okay, so that's because of Siskin. And if we accept our punishment in here, we will stay at the monastery, but our items will be gone. And if we don't going anywhere, we will get rid from here, so we don't get to be a monk.
Very well, brother. I accept my punishment.
Now, show me what you
So
have on
I
you.
think I will
must
reload
confiscate
again
anything that's not
and
allowed in the monastery.
saving my items. Yep, so we lost all of our items. Okay, so to make it safe, we need to save our items in here. Okay, I think it's safe now.
Among his disciples, but demonstrating the divine precepts by his actions for those of harder hearts and ruder minds. The abbot should always remember what he is and what he is called, and should know that to whom more is committed, from him more is required. Let him make no distinction of persons in the monastery. Let him not love one more than another.
So this is hilarious.
He finds better in good works or in obedience. And let him not shut his eyes to the faults of offenders, but since he...
I'm looking for something a little, unorthodox.
And what would that be exactly?
Remembering the fate of Heli, the priest of Sight.
I'm looking for lockpicks.
Lockpicks? And what would you like those for?
I'd like to practice opening locks, just for the fun of it.
Well, why not? So you heard I used to be a burglar, did you? I put it all behind me as soon as I took the vows. But I do have a few lockpicks left. I'll trade them for food. Get me a bite to eat, and you can have your lockpicks. Can't say fairer than that, can I?
Okay, so actually we can buy the lockpicks from him.
Brother, you were somewhere you shouldn't have been. Don't you know your place? Don't you know where you're
so this is
permitted to enter and
because
where your
we
presence
are
is forbidden?
going to the forbidden place, so we can't escape from this.
Very well, brother. I accept my punishment.
Now, Show me what you have on you. I must confiscate anything that's not allowed in the monastery.
Okay, now we got punishment, but because I'm already take all that items into the box upstairs, so it will be safe. Let's see.
God be with you.
Yep, it's still in there. So this is totally fine. Siskin will check on that, the goods. So the disadvantage if we get punishment is we need to start again from going to a mass at 4 in the morning. And also about Salarius, we can buy lockpicks, sell some potion or food to him.
For the obedience given to superiors is given to God. For if the disciple obeys,
Well, they be well.
not necessarily with his lips, but simply in his heart, then even though he fulfills the command, yet his work will not be acceptable to God, who sees that his heart is murmuring, and far from gaining a reward for such work as this, is and what he is called, and should know that to whom more is committed, from him more is required. Let him make no distinction of persons
Brother?
in the monastery. Let him not love
What are you doing
one
here?
more than another.
Shouldn't you be
unless it
working
one
somewhere?
whom he finds
Idle
better in
hands
works
are the
or in
devil's
obedience.
workshop.
And let him
I'm
not
just
shut
going
his
there.
eyes to the faults of
I
offenders,
definitely was there.
but since he
I
has
did
the
come a little
authority,
late,
let
so
him
perhaps
cut
no one
out
noticed
those
me.
faults by the roots
Really?
as soon as they begin to
This
appear.
time I'll look the other way. But next
Remembering
time,
the fate
you
of Heli,
won't get out of
the
being
priest
punished.
of Silo.
I'm
For
Gregor,
well
and I'm new
disposed
here.
and those of good
I
understanding,
know.
let him correct
I
with
saw you in the
verbal
church
admonition
during the
first and
ceremony.
second time.
I have a feeling we'll be
bold,
meeting again
hard,
soon.
proud,
And
disobedient
often.
characters,
You see,
who should
I'm a
curb at the very
cicator.
beginning
What does that
of their
mean?
ill-doing by stripes and
I make
other
sure
bodily
everyone
punishments.
observes the rule,
Knowing
does their
that it
work,
is
and that
written,
everything is the way
fool
it should
is
be.
not corrected
And when
with
it's not the way it
words.
should be?
And again,
Then we're
reach
authorized to
your
mete
son
out
with
punishment.
God, and you will
But
deliver
certainly
his
you
soul
won't
from
require
death.
correction, will you, brother?
So at 8 we need to go in here and talk to Neflas.
I'm Gregor, a novice.
I know. I saw you at the ceremony. My name is Nebulus, and I'm the provost here. I'm in charge of the monastery's property, as well as handling trade with the outside world.
That means you get to leave the monastery?
No, not at all. I just write lists and send them out.
Okay, let's talking about something.
Tell me about yourself.
I'm the provost of this monastery. It's my job to ensure the monks live a humble life and that any surpluses go to the poor. But in reality, I spend all my time making sure my brother's gluttony and the construction of a new church don't swallow up the few resources we have left.
I'm interested in the election of the new abbot.
You're not alone. Everyone's so worked up about that, they spent no time considering how they could make the monastery a better place now.
Why? What's wrong with it now?
Many brothers think more about their stomachs than prayer. The older brethren bend the rules of the order to make them fit their interests. So, to balance the scales, they want the novices to lead exemplary lives. Sin abounds here, just as in the outside world.
What sins are you talking about?
The scripture says, "Let he who is without sin cast the first stone." I'm sorry, Gregor, it's not my place to speak about the sins of others.
Tell me something about how the new abbot will be elected.
A new abbot has to be elected once the old one dies. All the brethren can vote, with the exception of novices. The abbot's crozier will be conferred on whoever is chosen, and he'll take the vow. When he becomes abbot, a monk spends most of his time dealing with politics outside the monastery, instead of actually leading the monastery. But he still maintains a fundamental influence on life here.
Can you tell me about Abbot Peter?
Peter's wise in the ways of politics and a good shepherd, but as you've already heard, he's old and infirm. The other brothers see him with one foot in the grave, but I still have hope for him. But you, brother, don't let yourself get involved in the games of your superiors. Could you help me with something?
With what?
I'm interested in medicine, and I know there's a cure for the abbot's ailment. With your help, I could find out the details, and together you and I could give old Peter a few more years to do good. What do you say?
What do you need me for?
In order to get the recipe for this medicament, a few rules will need to be broken. Now you know most of the brothers believe every illness is a message from God, and that it's not our place to deny his will. I, however, think if God sent us not just illnesses, but also the medicine to cure them, then it's our duty to relieve people of their suffering. The cure for Abbot Peter's illness could be contained in one of the books in our library, but it will certainly be amongst the Libri Prohibiti, the forbidden books, those we aren't permitted to read.
Why are they forbidden?
Because they contain occult and demonic practices, witchcraft and all manner of evil. Or so some people claim. It's nonsense, of course. This is nothing but a book of medicine, albeit one written by a pagan. Ibn Sina, also known as Avicenna, is universally acknowledged to be a wise man. But here, at some point, someone decided his book was the work of a Saracen devil and must be kept under lock and key. Since then, no one can even talk about the book. But the three wise men were from the East, were they not?
Where can I find it?
In the library, there's a large cabinet with a lock on it. The forbidden books are inside. You'll easily recognize what you're looking for. The cover has not only a Latin inscription, but also Saracen letters. Bring it to me, but leave the other books there. No one will notice if one book disappears, but if more were to vanish, someone would certainly begin to look into it, which is exactly what we don't want.
Is there anything you can tell me that would help?
There's a key to the cabinet in the prior's chambers. The librarian should have another one, or you can acquire some lockpicks. But I can't tell you where or how. Perhaps Brother Celerius could help.
Why can't you do it yourself?
Because I'm one of the highest-ranking monks here, and one day I'd like to become abbot. Can you imagine me crawling around in the black of night searching for a forbidden book?
You could just ask for it.
Do you honestly think I haven't tried? Unfortunately, Librarian Cyril is a stubborn ass.
I'm ready.
One more important thing. There's always someone in the library during the day. To pass unwatched, You'll need to go at night. It's locked, but I'm sure you'll manage to get in. They say Brother Solarius understands locks, but don't tell him why you need it. Once you have the book, bring it to me, and I'll then use it to make Peter's medicine. We'll soon have the election of the abbot over and done with.
Okay, another side quest.
I'm interested in the election of the new abbot.
You're not alone. Everyone...
Why? What's wrong with it?
Many brothers...
I'd be interested to know more about Brother John.
I don't like to speak ill of people, but Circuitor John is the worst person the monks could pick to represent them. He's nothing but an old schemer and pedant who preaches water but drinks wine. He's won the older brethren over because they know he won't call an end to their debauchery.
Why do you want to become abbot?
Because when I see the way things are headed around here, I have no other option. Itinerant preachers speak of the corrupted black heart of the church, and I can't deny there's truth in what they say. I'd like to change things and bring back meaning and esteem to the monastery.
That's all. Thank you.
Peace be with you, brother.
Okay, so that side quest is for the book at the library.
Praise be to Christ, brother.
And for now, we need to do our daily duties. If you want to get involved in politics, you can choose this option.
I'm here to work.
Excellent. I've been waiting for you. There's the alchemist's laboratory. You'll find ingredients in the chests next to it. I want you to prepare 2 marigold decoctions. Once you finish them, you'll find me somewhere nearby. Don't forget to let me know when you're done so I can check them.
Okay, so we need to brew something in here. And also one thing, the skill that is very useful is routine, so make sure you have this so we can auto brewing. Now we need marigold decoction. And we can auto brew. So we don't need to prepare.
Talk to me, brother.
I've finished my work.
Show me what you've made. Spectacular, Gregor. You've found your talent. Soon enough, you'll be teaching the other novices.
Okay, so for the next duties is go to the library, but it's at 12. Into scriptorium.
Praise be to Christ, brother.
And we can find finish the scatter pages side quest.
I found this piece of parchment. It looks like it's been ripped out of a book. Do you know what it is?
It appears to be a page torn out of Ovid.
Ovid? What is that? Is it the name of a book?
Not what, but who. Ovid was a great Roman poet. We have a few volumes by him in the library, but one of them vanished one day. Now I believe I can guess what happened. Brother Eustace, may the earth rest lightly on him, was quite narrow-minded when it came to classical literature. If a book had any mention of woman at all, he condemned it as a heretical work. If he'd had his way, all such books would have been burned. Ovid's The Art of Love must have been such a thorn in his side that he stole it from the library, tore it up, and hid the pages wherever he could.
Oh, would you like me to put the book back together again?
Absolutely. Eustace's wits weren't the sharpest, so I'm sure he didn't destroy any of the pages. I imagine he hid them throughout the monastery. It might take you a while to find them all, but when you do, you can rest assured Ovid will return to his rightful place in the library.
Good. I'll look around for it.
Thank you, brother. It's of no great importance, but if you can find all 10 pages, I'll be most grateful.
I already have that.
Can you tell me something about the book?
The Art of Love is a sort of manual instructing young people how to find and maintain love. It's a lovely work. I don't understand what bothered Eustace so much about it, but as I was saying, he considered the book to be immoral and tore it up to stop it corrupting any of his brothers.
Where should I look?
If I knew, I wouldn't have asked you to do it. The pages of the book could be hidden anywhere, from the garden to the refectory.
Okay.
I've heard there are some forbidden books locked up in the library.
That's correct. They're here, safely hidden away from anyone who might be tempted to read them.
What if I just wanted to take a peek? Could I?
You could not. They are libri prohibiti, and the only people permitted access to them are the abbot and I. Although I see no reason why he or I would ever want to read them.
Not even if I were to beg? Or promise a favor in return?
If you could prove to me that you truly like books, then maybe.
Could a book be prohibited by mistake? Maybe a good book or a useful one?
No errors are made. Every book on the prohibited list is there for a reason. Who am I to doubt the wisdom of Mother Church?
How does a book get on the forbidden list?
Forbidden works are full of heresy and blasphemy and witchcraft. If you ask me, we should burn them immediately, not archive them.
I don't need to hear anything else. I've heard about Avicenna's Book of Medicine. Could I see it?
Who told you about that? Of course you can't.
Is it possible to learn something about the other novices in the library?
Only the abbot and the prior keep such records.
And can I see them?
No. The abbot writes and keeps his records in his chambers, and only he and the prior are permitted to read them.
Okay, so that is about the abbot's list. So we can finish the side quests.
I have all the pages of the torn up book. The Art of Love can go back to the library.
Oh, brother, you can't even imagine how happy you've made me. Since you're clearly a true lover of books, I'll give you a reward I've never given another novice. I'll lend you the key to the cabinet containing forbidden books, and you can look at the peculiar things we've accumulated there. That cabinet's strictly off limits to novices, but you've earned my trust. I'm sure you'll recognize that those books contain nothing but dangerous gibberish, and there's a valuable lesson to be learned there.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate your trust.
Nice.
Is there anything I can do to help here?
I'm glad you asked. There's one thing, a silly thing really. I haven't thought to mention it to anyone before, but not long ago, a brother brought me a crumpled piece of parchment. He says he found it rolled up in a hole in the wall. The thing is, it was a page from Ovid.
Ovid? What is that? Is it the name of a book?
Not what, but who? Ovid was a great Roman poet. We have a few volumes by him in the library, but one of them vanished one day. Now I believe I can guess what happened. Brother Eustace, may the earth rest lightly on him, was quite narrow-minded when it came to classical literature. If a book had any mention of woman at all, he condemned it as a heretical work. If he'd had his way, all such books would have been burned.
Okay, so
Ovid's The Art of
this
Love
must be
must have been
the
such
first
a
thing that
thorn
we
in
need to
his side
talk.
that he stole it from the library, tore it up, and hid the pages wherever he could.
Yeah. We already finished that, so let's do
I'm
our
here to
daily
work.
duties.
Good. This is most likely the first time you've ever done this in your life. But it's easier than you think. Just a bit of practice and learning Latin. Here's the original, and here are the blank parchments on which you'll copy what you read in the original. Is that clear? Then you may begin, and try not to make a mess of it.
Okay, so in here we need to transcribe a Latin. And what is this?
Salve. Be well.
Luminous. Okay, let's try this. Dormivi, Domini.
Can you read at all? I've never seen so many mistakes.
Mistakes. Okay, but never mind that. It's alright. Let's see. Okay, so there are some side quests that we need to do. Let's check on our schedule. 4 p.m. afternoon worship, 6 p.m. Vespers. Okay. We need to wait until 4. We need to go to pray again. Until 6.
remember what he is and what he is called, and should know that to whom more is committed, from him more is required. Let him make no distinction of persons in the monastery. Let him not love one more than another.
And this is our free time before we need to go to bed. What is that marker? Oh, okay, still the books at night. It's upstairs. So this is the only time that we can talk to other novices or other monks. But before that, I will go to upstairs and then go to sleep and save for 1 hour, because I will continue this at the next episode. So see you next time.